We've been doing movie nights for
years.
a Gen Xer and
A Gen Z. Random weird moments that the two of us have experienced, and there are a lot of those.
And he crashes them.
As you do.
It's like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where did this come from? Why are we singing?
I mean, you're not going to learn anything about the movies listening to us talk. This is the Argo City Podcast. Film, conventions, and fan life with Maddie and Matthew.
Sorry I'm a few minutes coming in here late. I had to gather up all the books I stole from you last night.
Well, there was kind of homework on this. So, we headed out to an advanced screening last night of the new Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yay!
And the thing is, unlike a lot of characters, a lot of teams and heroes, Fantastic Four is not one that you really grew up with.
No, it's really not. I mean, it had always been kind of in the background, but
it's peripheral, yes.
Yeah.
But it's not one that you were actively watching or seeing stuff or reading about. There's a few there though. Like you've got the two Herbie books.
Yes, the Franklin Richards books. Those ones are so much fun. I ended up reading them last night, which was fun. And also the comic book, aka the homework that you gave me. I'm out of school. I thought I'd be done with homework by now.
I tried to make it easy too, because it's not like I gave you one of the essential Fantastic, one of those huge volumes over
God,
in the.
no, please no.
I did give you a copy of Marvels, which is an Alex Ross painted book, and this one kind of covers that first meeting with Galactus. It's just a good, quick way of doing that without having to go back and dig up the originals and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I actually ended up reading through the book last night, and we were actually texting about this the night before, but what is going on with some of those color palettes? I'm looking at, like, Hawkeye in the corner, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, is that Hawkeye? Whose idea were those costumes? Because those are the worst two colors to mush together ever.
It's the 60s, and, you're Hawkeye's standing right next to Scarlet Witch in that panel, too.
Yes, she I recognized. I didn't, though.
But one of the things that actually put me off about Marvel was how it seemed like everybody had masks that were pointy.
Yeah.
And just constantly, and I didn't like it. Something about that aesthetic bothered me. So I gravitated more towards DC. For that and some other reasons. Anyhow, so this is the new movie, and it's, as usual, we let it go over the weekend, so it gets its first weekend before we talk about it.
Yeah, no spoilers here. You had your chance. It's your fault if you get spoiled.
Yeah, I literally got the tickets for the advanced screening on Wednesday afternoon. And 6 hours later, we're there in the theater.
No, I was literally at work, and I'd gone on my 5, which is like my break during my shift, and I see this, and I'm like, oh crap, I guess I'm not going to Walmart after all. And I had to book it home, change, and then book it all the way over to the theater.
And this is cool. It's the same one that we went to see Superman in. And so literally just a couple weeks ago. So it's kind of cool to be there and to compare and contrast, because Superman and Fantastic Four are like the two rival movies this summer.
And I parked in the right spot this time. It still took me over to the Dillard side, but I managed to pull around and I figured out where to park correctly, so I was able to find you this time, which was great.
And a good thing that we did, because it was a long line. I want to talk about that a little bit later when we start talking about expectations. So first, I just wanted to know what you thought. What did you like? Because you were really pretty stoked coming out of it.
No, I was actually enjoying quite a lot of this. First of all, I adore Herbie. I adore him and how much they utilize his character in this. I adore Johnny that, scratches his head like a cat, because that's adorable to me. But he speaks in like a different like language, and like everybody can understand them except for the audience, which is hilarious.
It's just computers and stuff. I thought it was interesting. They've got him running off of magnetic tape, like a cassette tape or a VHS tape.
I know, like they changed it partway through the movie for like space, and
Yeah,
that was
different
such
program.
a cool idea.
But we used to do that actually in the 80s. We would write programs on our computer, and we would record them on a cassette tape, just like you'd put it in to listen to.
Really?
Big reel-to-reel magnetic tape like that would have been the standard in the 60s, in the era this is set in. So it makes sense, and just the way that it's done is really cute and clever.
He's adorable. I adore him and all of his facial expressions. Literally, towards the end, where he is hiding the baby from Galactus, we see his face turn into a frown, which is just, oh no, my poor child.
Well, and what's interesting is you're right. He actually does have stuff to do. He's not just like the family dog, which is what he easily could have turned into.
No, he is helping to prepare meals. He is helping
helping
with
navigate
household
the ships.
chores. He's navigating the ships. He's like providing stability. He's amazing. I love him. I can't get over how much I adore him in this.
This was such a smart and interesting way to set this apart from other Fantastic Four movies too, because the character is kind of beloved for Gen Xers and Boomers, because that's the era where we were watching that cartoon. But he's always just kind of hinted around the periphery. He's just been around the edges of the story. Anybody who wants to like prove that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, will slip him in. So it could have just been a background gag. It could have just been simple, and it wasn't. This was a fully formed character.
No, like the other things that I really did like, I loved how they did Invisible Woman's power. With her bending light, seeing the rainbow when she's using that power. That was so cool to me.
They didn't skimp on it. They gave her something to do with it. You got to see the baby when she was pregnant.
That's one of my, I was going to get to that. That's one of my favorite parts. Like, being able to use that invisibility in a very specific part of her body to show, well, the child was fascinating to me.
Now,
like,
yeah. In some of the other ones, we've seen some interesting uses of it, like turning a wall invisible so she can see what's going on out there, or stuff like that. So I like that they deployed that really well.
No, I love how they utilize that. That was really interesting.
I was actually a lot less impressed with how they used Mr. Fantastic's.
Yeah, he didn't actually really do a lot in this movie, did he?
He does like the big brain stuff and a lot of the thinking stuff, but one of the things I noticed was his stretching was muted, like he was depowered. Like
he couldn't stretch as much. I mean, when we get that scene where Galactus is like pulling him apart, he doesn't pull very far for him to be in so much pain.
Well, it's even in the casual scenes where he's on the chalkboard and he's going further and further, and suddenly you realize, oh yeah, he's stretching his arm. It took me a minute to see it, because, okay, so his arm isn't 2.5 feet, now it's 3 feet. But that's not much.
Yeah.
It's not pulling it to an extreme where you barely notice it. If we go back to those Fox movies, and we're going to compare, I think, a lot to that, because I think that's the one that most people know.
Yeah.
If you compare to those Fox movies, they have Mr. Fantastic casually, constantly stretching.
He's just like in the middle of nowhere, just, oh, okay, yeah, guess we're doing this now.
Grabbing something 12 feet away.
He sits in a chair and just stretches his arms out, like in the chair. What is the purpose for that?
So I've seen this done better, and I wish we could have seen more done with it. The character's fine. And I think I'm going to be saying that a lot, because the movie was fine. I don't know that it's not the best thing ever. But it's okay. In fact, I think if we'd gotten this instead of, say, like that second Fox movie, I think we might have gone a little further down that line. If we'd gotten something more like this.
The other thing that I really liked, and I know we had talked about this because you disagreed with me here, I kind of liked Johnny throughout this movie. I enjoyed watching him get his own thing with, like, deconstructing, like, the language of the Silver Surfer. And that was fascinating to me because it's like everybody on this team, they're all really, like, smart, or they're all really powerful in their own way. And we don't usually see, well, Johnny's usually used for, what's the term?
For, like, comic relief.
Yeah, for comic relief. But he really gets to shine here with that, which is, I found that really cool.
See, I don't argue that. But I do think this is the worst version of Johnny I've ever seen. He's a complete nothing burger. There is nothing to this personality. He's just so plain and middle of the road. Even when he's jabbing back and forth with Ben, it feels
there's no real
muted.
Bite. There's no real bite to it.
There's no sharpness to it. It's not him turning around. It's not Thing going to him, okay, no more jokes, Matchstick. No more jokes. All right. Wide load coming through. Seriously, he's huge. Chris Evans did this so well. I'll give you a hot take, no pun intended.
Oh my God.
I like Chris Evans better as Torch than I do as Captain America.
Huh.
I think he does so much better of a job. And that's the thing. This Johnny needs some bravado. He needs some machismo. He needs some arrogance. And we know that it was a deliberate decision to tone all that down. We know that. The filmmakers have come straight out and said that. Is that cool anymore? No, I don't think so. And even in the anime that we're watching, he's constantly popping
They
up.
are fighting all the time. I love them so much. But, like, yeah, you don't, now that I think about it, you don't really get that much from him.
And here's why I really miss this. Because that whole character arc that you were talking about, with him deconstructing the language, how much cooler would that character arc be if, up until then, he's just a hothead, he's just a jerk, he's just, an arrogant bro and an immature, and he has to overcome that and prove that, no, I can actually be relevant, I can be important and useful. If he's just this fine, inoffensive guy the whole time, he doesn't have anything to overcome. He's robbed of the hero moment decoding that language. Because he's a Fantastic Four kid. Yeah, of course he. No, if he's the punk kid that is constantly messing up, and then he does that, that's so much bigger of an arc.
Like, I get that, and I will say, kind of you were saying, like, hot take, no pun intended, I don't like it when Johnny is, like, super, super immature, especially in the anime. Like, being a little bit is one thing, but I really don't like it when they make him act, like, childish to a point where it gets annoying. But I do see where you're coming with that, and I do get that.
It's some sort of characterization.
Yeah.
It's anything. Because this poor guy has nothing. And I'm going to assume that it's writing and it's not the actor. I'd hope that if he had more to work with, he could have done a better job. But he might as well be furniture. He might as well. Herbie has more personality than Johnny. And that just shouldn't be.
I did have a very random question about you, or a question for you about him, because I was actually thinking about it during the movie. So Johnny's fire. We know that, like, when he, like, touches something, he can burn things. If he's, I don't know, scenario, let's say he's saving someone that jumped off a roof. Is that fire going to burn them?
I would think so. Probably should. Now, in this movie, they had it where he could turn it off on parts of him, but
Okay.
the fire is what allows him to fly. Heat rises.
Oh, I did never realize that. That's hilarious.
And so if only like from his knees down is fire, I don't know if you're creating enough lift for him to really be able to fly like that.
That's so interesting.
I didn't like that. But you know what? The science in a lot of this movie is really out to lunch.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of moving the planet. And I'm like, okay, where exactly are you moving it? Do you have a destination?
Yeah, that's...
Are we moving to a parallel universe? Is that how we get into the 616? Because you can't just move the planet.
Yeah, that's true.
If this planet was, a couple inches, a couple feet one way or another, then we no longer have the ecosystem to support life. You can't move it away from the moon. That's got enormous effect on our weather and on our tides.
Like the gravity, what are we going to do about the gravity?
So I need to know more about where you're moving it. Now, I realize it's just a MacGuffin, but the science is not sciencing. These are the dumbest smart people I've ever seen. And that bothers me a little.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably expecting us to walk into this not knowing anything.
Well, maybe, or I don't know if they just didn't. But this is stuff that they should be thinking about.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
The other thing that I just didn't like about this, Thing's whole thing with, it's clobbering time, where he actively, denies it almost the entire movie. That's always been something fun that he'll say occasionally in the different series. I hate that he, absolutely denied it during this.
That's one of those kind of unforced errors. It's weird, yeah. In fact, what it reminds me of is the Justice League movie, the one, whether it's Zack Snyder's version or Joss Whedon's version. The actor who plays Cyborg refused to say the line "Booyah," but this is something that everybody knows from Teen Titans Go, and from Teen Titans. I mean, this is in live action, and those are probably the most well-known versions of that character.
You can't just deny that and expect the fandom to be fine with that.
Right, you need, even if it's just once. Yeah, that just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And yeah, this is an unforced error. And that's really where I come in with Thing, because Thing is great for most of this.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The characterization is really good. I love that they play into the Jewish heritage and the Jewish roots.
Yeah, that was such a cool thing to see.
It's subtle,
having them
but
going
it's
into a
there.
temple. That was awesome.
And as much as I'd prefer a real suit, it's hard to get that face right in a real suit. It's hard to get that teeny tiny little nose correct in a real suit. So if it's going to be CGI, they went hard trying to make him look exactly like he did in the comics. Until we hit the third act, and somebody decided he's going to have a rock beard.
Yeah, that was I don't like that.
What is this? It'd be fine. It'd be a fine visual gag for 5 minutes. So yes, the power goes out. We're saving electricity so that we can build our dimensional bridge, and Thing's electric shaver goes out. Okay, but in the morning when the electricity comes back on, get rid of that. And it's distracting. I literally spent the entire third act, that entire climactic battle sequence, waiting for something to happen to remove that beard. Okay, he's frozen. It's going to break off.
Yeah.
Or he gets punched so hard that it comes. It's... Why?
He looks like a grandpa. Why would you do that?
I don't understand the reasoning here. I don't understand this creative decision. And if the creative decision is, well, it's never been done before. We wanted to see what it looks like. That's a 5-minute gag. That is not... Why are you doing this? That sort of thing it's a pebble in your shoe that will just tank the whole thing.
pun.
I didn't even think about it.
No, we're going to be hitting all the puns today.
But the rest of the time, I love it. I love the coat and hat when he's incognito.
I know, it's like he's trying his best. It doesn't work, but he's doing his best.
I love that we're back in the old hometown on Yancey Street. Yancey Street is a thing. The Yancey Street gang, where these kids are constantly making fun of him, is a thing.
Oh, no.
So they got it all in there.
Yeah.
The other thing, let's go into Easter eggs for a second, because you caught some of them and some of them you didn't.
Oh, I was so excited. At one point, we flashed into, like, I don't remember if it was like a newsstand or if it was like a comic book shop. We see on the poster, The Watcher.
Yeah, no, see,
And-
I'll tell you what it was.
What?
That was a studio.
What?
That was your Stan Lee cameo. That was Stan and Jack working on Timely Comics. Instead of a Stan Lee cameo, they went back to the office where they're creating Fantastic Four, where they're creating The Watcher.
Oh.
Timely Comics is what Marvel Comics was before it was Marvel.
That's hilarious. But you know the thing that I also noticed? In the homework assignment that you gave me, The Watcher stands next to Galactus. And I have a feeling that's why they included him in there.
So yes, absolutely. That's the thing about the Watcher. He's forbidden to interfere. He's just watching. One of the things I noticed around that area, though, as well, around that city block, I always look at the business signs.
Yes.
There's a King's Dry Cleaners.
Okay.
And it's in focus a lot. So, Jack Kirby's nickname is the King.
Okay.
Stan would give everybody that he worked with names.
That's hilarious. That's
Stan,
adorable.
Stan the Man and Jack the King Kirby.
That's hilarious.
So I don't know it, but I would bet that constant reference to King is, again, it's a reference back to Kirby. Because this movie really, really respects Jack, and it's trying to give him a lot of recognition to the point where at the very end, we find out why this is Earth 828. It's his birthday. And we saw that. We saw it, and it merged into... And that's the sound that everybody in the theater made at that moment.
Honestly, just actually stepping away from the actual plot for a second, just being in that theater, there was some really interesting stuff that happened to us in the theater. For starters, as you were talking about, there is one scene where an Invisible Woman, she is fighting with Mr. Incredible. They're fighting about the baby. And I hear someone off in the side of the audience say, "You go, girl!" And everyone in the theater proceeds to laugh. I was laughing my butt off. That was hilarious.
It was a good crowd. A lot of Galactus had popcorn buckets in there.
Yeah, I spotted one while you were in the bathroom, and I was holding our spot in line, and I was like, oh my god.
And then did you see how much they cost? Those things are like $80.
Why would you buy an 80... What?
Really, what's really tragic is the guy that we saw when we were leaving, and like one of the horns on the helmet broke off, and like, oh
no! Literally, when we were sitting, when we had just gotten into the theater, we were chilling for a bit before the movie started. The guy next to us, we were talking about the popcorn button. He's like, "Would you like to hold it for a photo?" And we're like, "Yes." And he let me take pictures with it in my hands. That guy was awesome. We really appreciate that.
You know, some of the other merchandising, though, for this too, there was product placement in this movie. Did you notice?
I didn't know.
Johnny is constantly eating cereal.
Okay.
It's real cereal. It's Lucky Charms. It's stuff like that. It's General Mills cereal.
Why is Lucky Charms sponsoring Fantastic Four?
Well, if you go to the store, look at the cereal boxes. They're on the cereal boxes right now in the stores.
Oh my god!
I was hoping that like some of like the Reese's Puffs that came home would have one of them on there. So it's cross promotion.
It's like they're doing the same thing that they did with Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
So I love all that kind of stuff. The ship that they take off in. What's it named? It's named the Excelsior.
Oh, okay.
Which is what Stan would always say. It's how he would end any of his articles. He wouldn't say goodbye. He'd say Excelsior.
That's so cool.
Kirby and Lee's fingerprints are they're all over a lot of this. Which is what makes like some of those changes, like the beard Or instead of having the Silver Surfer that we've got 40 years worth of stories with, let's take the one that was in 2 pages of a What If comic and swap that out instead.
Yeah, you actually told that to a guy that was sitting next to us.
Well, he asked. He literally asked, because I was pointing out to you that the Silver Surfer actually has his own comics.
Yeah.
He still has his own adventures. And so he was asking, yes, but this isn't the same one, is it? This is... And he knew the name, so he kind of knew. And like, yes, that is going to be Shalabal, and this is Norrin Rad's, his wife, his girlfriend, but she's only Silver Surfer in like an imaginary sequence, a couple pages of a What If, and then there's one alternate universe. That's it.
Yeah, like this just goes to show just how nice the people in the theater were.
She was okay, and they really did lean into, okay, we're going to make this about her being a her. That's where we're going to kind of throw the not quite a romance with Johnny. And, okay, I get it, but it's...
I don't know.
I pulled up the trailer for Rise of the Silver Surfer for the Fox one. To me, that Silver Surfer looks so much better. And everything they did with him was better.
I get that. I don't know. I liked getting to see like her background sequences, and especially I kind of liked watching her throughout. Like I said, I was more focused on other things, but I did enjoy watching. I don't know. I kind of liked watching her.
You would get that same background with Norrin Rad.
Is it the same backstory?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons that he turns on Galactus actually has to do with getting to know the Thing's girlfriend. We've met her a couple times. That's the blind...
the pink hair girl, right? Pink hair in the anime.
That could be, yes. I think you're right. She's the blind girl, and Alicia Masters, she's the sculptress, and her humanity is what touches him in the comics to make him turn. They kind of gave that whole arc to Johnny instead, but again, they're giving Johnny a reason to be a hero. They're giving Johnny something to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not too critical of them changing that, but it's just they make so much of this look good, and then they do these sharp left turns, and I don't know why. I want to spoil the end for a second here too, because this is the other thing that really bothers me here.
So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, you have your chance to turn back. Now you missed it. All right, go ahead.
Sue wears herself out, pushing Galactus into the rift, or getting him in position so that Johnny and then the Surfer can knock him into the rift. And it's too much. It kills her. And then Franklin, whose powers have always been a little bit, we're not sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, does Franklin have any powers? Because I know he didn't
Yes.
in the mini comics.
Right, because he's much younger.
Oh.
So they're developing, and we don't know. He really is destined to be the next Devourer.
Really?
He's destined to live past this universe. So we don't know what is going to happen next.
Oh.
Marvel's not really sure what to do with him a lot of times. So, in this, Franklin brings Sue back to life. And I don't like this. If you're going to kick off your first movie by establishing that death has no meaning...
Oh.
Then how are we ever able to expect any stakes from anything going forward? It's narrative suicide, and it's just a poor resolution. I don't like this. There's a lot of that kind of stuff here, though. It's 75% good, and then they trip on a rake, and they walk straight into a wall. And it happens over and over and over again to undermine what could have been something so much better. Let's go back to crowd size, because I mentioned this earlier. So, we got in line probably about the same time as we did for Superman. We were about 4 people further back.
Yeah.
It was a much longer line.
The line was huge. It, like, by the time you got in, it was wrapped around.
So, I was thinking about this, because I'm like, I was hoping Superman would have the bigger line. But this was a very different screening. So this wasn't necessarily a press screening like we've been going to. This one was more of just an advanced screening. We're going to let everybody sit wherever they are. No reserved seats, no reserved rows. So we had better seats.
We got to sit, like, in a chair and look forward. We didn't have to look up the whole time.
Did you notice they didn't fill the theater?
They didn't? Because I kept seeing people walking in.
There were still a few empty seats here and there and here and there.
Really?
Now, for Superman, there was at least 2 theaters.
Yeah.
And they were doing those previews all over the state.
Yeah.
For Fantastic Four, this is it in Ohio. We got to the only advanced screening in Ohio.
Yeah.
And they didn't fill the theater.
Wait, no, that's insane.
So my first impression was longer line, more popular movie. And when I go step back and think about it, well, wait, no, not a longer line, because it was just all of us. And see, I really want to know what happens. And by the time you're listening to this, you'll know. You'll know who won the box office weekend. But right now, I'm wondering, does this beat or tie Superman?
That's interesting because, I mean, Fantastic Four isn't as well known as Superman is. It's not as big of a fad as Superman is in Ohio. But you're not wrong about the theater, though.
I mean, do you feel the buzz and the energy about Fantastic Four that we were seeing about Superman?
No, because Superman is like, it's a thing in Cleveland. Everyone was excited for it.
Well, and I imagine DC really put a lot of money into promotion, and I don't think there's been nearly as much in promotion that Disney put behind Fantastic Four.
Except for like those random CC's Pizza ads. I don't know. They're weird.
I'm really curious to see if this catches the audience. I think I liked Superman better, although they both have things in common. Like, they both dispensed with the origin story and just dropped us straight in there.
I'm so happy about that.
I'm really liking that, too. Origin story is just a flashback.
Yeah, I hate having to sit through those stupid origin... Literally, our origin flashback scene was a news broadcast, and that was it. Boom, done.
And it was perfect. It was enough for the uninitiated. So I hope this is a trend going forward. I really do. Because Batman 1989 did that really well. They did it in a flashback. Man of Steel kind of meshed it in here and there throughout the whole movie. But I like this new idea, this new trend of only doing a little bit here. But yes, Fantastic Four is not quite as in the public consciousness as Superman is. I don't know. As much as I liked Superman and Fantastic Four, I gotta tell you, I liked Thunderbolts better.
Okay, that wasn't one of the options, though.
It's not, but it's important. Because this movie wasn't just trying to restart the Fantastic Four as a franchise. It's really there to try and kickstart the MCU again.
Yeah, because, once again, spoiler alert, but at the very, very end, we get a scene with Franklin and Doom. Saying that they will return in Avengers Doomsday.
And we already got that teaser at the end of Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
This is really supposed to hype up interest for that. And I don't think that...
I don't think this was the right audience.
If you want one movie to restart the MCU, this is not it. This is not a summer blockbuster, I don't think.
No.
I think this is a great spring movie, a great fall movie, something to fill up.
Yeah.
But it's not the summer beat 'em down blockbuster, and I don't think it's going to do what they need it to do. Did you have anything else that you were...
No, I think we hit just about everything that I found interesting throughout this.
Okay, I think that is about it for Fantastic Four. It's still in theaters, and the theaters get a bigger cut the longer that it's there. So go see it this week or
Go support your
next
local
week.
theaters. Go support the local theaters.
And we will be back with... Okay, so you'll notice that we're a little late with our podcast this week because I wanted to properly finish our perspective on Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And it's we recorded that one on Thursday, I think, or maybe even... Yeah, Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I think Thursday sounds right.
It's Monday now, so the weekend box office is in. And we talked about... I wonder what it's going to be, because the big talk all summer has been Superman versus Fantastic Four, which is going to come up on top. And I think it's kind of a tie.
Yeah, literally, it was like a million in between each of them. Like, they were so incredibly close.
This was a big surprise to me. Fantastic Four came in $1 million over Superman after they added in
Over the
international.
seas, yeah.
Disney has a tendency to squeeze in the preview night as well. They may have done that. Superman, though, did better domestically.
Yeah, of course
It actually
did
brought
better
in
domestically.
more domestically than Fantastic Four. So with a margin that close, it's almost like I think it's a win for both of them.
Yeah.
I can't really declare a clear winner.
Yeah, because...
And I love that because to me it feels like
Yeah.
that should make everybody happy.
Yeah, everybody did a good job. Everybody made a lot of money, and all the fans are happy. So
I mean, I was sitting here obviously rooting for Superman, but no, this conclusion, I'm still actually real happy about this, and I'm not entirely surprised. I thought Fantastic Four might eclipse Superman at the box office, but I wasn't sure. I have other friends who were pretty sure that it was back and forth.
yeah,
I'm seeing plenty of good reviews for Fantastic Four. I think a lot of the things that we liked about Superman we saw in Fantastic Four as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The abbreviated
Backstory
origin series.
and,
the
like...
brighter costumes, the brighter
Yeah.
outlook. You know what? That's actually a really happy ending. And I just wanted to make sure that we could include that in this podcast. So sorry that you're getting it a day or so late, but I think
to add this in. This was kind of necessary.
Yeah, and I feel like this is really, really the happy ending that we wanted. All right. We'll see you all next week.
Bye!